Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Before I start, I just want to apologise for my appearance tonight. I'm not usually this short and bald. Recently I was a victim of identity theft. This is what the bastards left me with. So if you're out later and happen to bump into a 6'4" black Glaswegian woman, it might be me. I'm joking, of course. I am this short and bald. I was born short and bald, actually. You can only imagine my disappointment now after all these years, finding myself pretty much back where I fucking started. It's not a great look. I think we can all agree on that. It's not like anybody aspires to, is it? I guarantee there's not a man in this room who stood in front of a mirror at the age of 12 and thought, oh, I hope I don't grow anymore and all my hair falls out by the time I'm 30. Ladies not attracted to short, bald men? Feel free to disagree, anybody. No, I'm well aware of that. You only have to look at any dating website, count how many adverts you see from women specifically looking for a short, bald man. You won't find any, trust me, I've looked. Once I saw one years ago, would like to meet short, bald men, age, personality, unimportant. I replied and it turned out to be someone casting for extras for the Lord of the Rings movie. My friends used to say to me, don't worry about it, Pete, it's what's on the inside that counts. I still think that's what I am worried about. I'm never going to get inside anyone looking like this. I did eventually meet someone and settle down there. My wife's a beautiful, intelligent, artistic, short, bald woman. We have a lot of fun. She's lovely, my wife. She's a lot younger than I am, and she worries about the way I live, my diet. She's a vegetarian. Well, not a vegetarian. She's what do you call those ones? She doesn't eat meat, but she eats fish. Begins with a P. No, not pescatarian. No, she's a penguin. Very distinctive walk, my wife, can't listen. She was supposed to be here tonight, and she's fallen out with me. She's not speaking to me because she found out that I have a new nickname, pet name, I prefer to say, for her vaginal area. Now, in my defence, I only came up with this name, so I found out that she refers to it as her lady garden. I don't have a problem with that. So why is she upset with me? Because she found out that I've started calling it my lady allotment. On the basis it doesn't actually belong to me, but I get to potter around in there occasionally. And I had to go on a waiting list. What really bothers me about that story, what bothers me about it is when we first met 18 years ago, she'd have loved the fact I had little nicknames for parts of her body, would have laughed about it. But now, after 18 years, all that romance is gone. And I kind of get it. I used to love getting text messages from her. Phone would ping and I'd smile in anticipation. Now if my phone pings, I'm just thinking, what the fuck have I done wrong now? And she sends me all these messages and her phone uses autocorrect and she doesn't check them before she sends them. Doesn't always get it right. I had one a little while ago, help, I've locked the Jews in the bar. I panicked, I'm Jewish, my family's Jewish. I thought, oh my God, she's finally lost all patience with the whole Middle East peace process, taking my family hostage in the local pub. I rushed home, only to find what she meant to say was, I've locked the keys in the car. Auto-correct. I had one last week, I was out with some mates, it was getting pretty late. Phone pinged. When are you coming home, you bald twat? Still trying to work out what she meant by that. Not always obvious, is it? It's not always obvious. We have a 16-year-old daughter, that came as a bit of a shock. I was 45 years old when my wife announced that I was to become a father for the very first time. Huge surprise. But I've been told by several doctors that I can't have children on account of my low sperm count. One doctor actually told me that he could count my sperm on the fingers of one hand. So I remember thinking at the time it was an unusual way to take the sample. But could you get what you pay for? I want to be a good dad. I've had a difficult start in life personally. Apparently when I was born I took one look at my parents and it was me who suffered from postnatal depression. I was a middle child of 5, but the smallest of the 5. That was tough. I not only got hand-me-downs, got hand-me-ups as well. Let me tell you, it's no fun going to school in your little sister's old uniform. A difficult relationship with my own father. He was a good man, my dad, but he was old school. He was strict. He had lists of rules on bits of paper that we had to live our lives by. When I was 13 years old, he came over to me with a bit of paper in his hand. He said, son, it's time I told you about sex. He said, there are 3 golden rules you need to know about sex. If you remember these 3 rules, you won't go too far wrong. Pay attention. He looked at his bit of paper and said, rule number 1, don't get out of your depth until you know what you're doing. So you've got a bit of experience, just take it steady. Rule number 2, never ever do it straight after a heavy meal. I looked at him, I said, these are your swimming rules, mate. You gave me these when I was 7. He looked at his bit of paper and said, oh shit, I'm sorry son, you're right. He said, I must have got them mixed up. He said, I wonder why the third one said, always make sure there's someone else on hand to help out in case you get into difficulties. That was my sex education, ladies and gentlemen. Is it any wonder I was terrified of girls as a teenager, too shy to touch them, but most of my teenage years locked in my bedroom doing what teenage boys tend to do. Sticking little pictures of footballers in albums. And masturbating. Not at the same time, that would have been weird. But no, I did do that a lot. I'm not ashamed of it, some of me all did. I might have done it a bit more than others. When I was 14, my parents bought me for my birthday a watch. It was my first proper grown-up watch, and I was really proud of it. But it was one of those watches that winds itself automatically with the movement of your wrist. Yeah, don't worry, I see some of you ahead of me here. I'm not going to go into detail. Suffice to say that according to the date on that watch, I celebrated the millennium in 1979. I turned 60 during the first COVID lockdown. Sort of snuck up me, but it's alright being 60. You get loads of free stuff I wasn't aware of. Free prescriptions, free eye tests, unlimited free trips to the toilet. I'm making the most of this. On the day of my 60th birthday, I'm not making this up, through the post, courtesy of the NHS, I got a bowel cancer screening kit. Wasn't even my worst present. My wife, my 60th birthday, bought me a DNA test kit. Nothing says I love you quite like I wonder if that child really is his, is it? And I did the test, I took the swab, I sent it off, and I wasn't expecting any surprises. I knew for a fact that all 4 of my grandparents were Russian Jews who came over to this country at the beginning of the 20th century to escape the persecution over there. And sure enough, the results came back, genuinely. 99% Russian Jewish, 1% Russian non-Jewish. That intrigued me, that 1%. I can only assume that was a bit they took off when I was a baby, because as far as I'm concerned, I'm 100% Jewish now. So I've been with my wife 18 years now, and I love being married, I do. And the best thing for me about being married is knowing that never again will I have to go through the terrifying ordeal of taking my clothes off for the first time for a new partner. You know the situation, guys, you're with a woman, you can have sex for the first time, she's going to see you naked for the first time. I don't look good naked. I'm sorry, I know that's what you're thinking about now, and it's a difficult image to shift. And ladies, you're too polite to say anything, usually, when you see us naked for the first time, but you can't hide that instant reaction. There's a look in your eyes tells us everything we need to know. I've seen them all. Disappointment, amusement, pity, shock and anger on one occasion. But in fairness to that particular lady, she was only out walking a dog at the time. I think she'd expect to have come face to face with my miniature schnauzer, that's for sure. And the thing is, when you're not so well endowed, you have to work on other areas of your technique. Don't you guys? I've been working on my oral sex technique recently. I know some men don't like performing oral sex. I quite enjoy it. Down there under the duvet. Alone with my thoughts. It's nice having a bit of time to myself, to be honest with you. My wife loves it. I had a text from my wife just before I came on stage demanding oral sex when I get home. So I think that's what she wants. Autocorrect. I'm assuming she doesn't really want me to rush home and give her aunt a good kicking, but you never know. Now I know when I'm doing well, because I can feel my wife's hands clamped to my bald head, manipulating me here and there, up and down, round and round. It's like someone trying to have a conversation with a dead grandmother on a Ouija board. You have to take your time, though, don't you, to bring your partner to full satisfaction. Let you to secret ladies, it does get a bit boring. Now, I don't know what other men do to keep themselves amused while they're down there. Probably not this. So what I like to do, I like to pretend I'm making one of those natural history programmes. You know, I'll be down there, and so, after 3 days trekking through the depths of the desert, I find myself at the entrance to the sacred grotto. Word of advice, guys, don't do the voice out loud. That Will fucking freaked them out. Once I got carried away, did the voice that loud, she snapped her legs together so tight I couldn't hear her for a week. Although in hindsight, it might have been the camera crew that's upsetting her, who knows. That's my time, it's been lovely, thank you. Teckman, good night.